Well, it's time for our cooking segment, and I'm really, really excited about working with you once again. Indigenous Summer Solstice Festival brought us together to celebrate all things culturally inspiring, I should say.
Yeah.
Inspiring, not expiring, because
expiring.
I want to live through this dish because I know what your cooking is like. Tell us about what we're making today.
So we are going to be doing a very simple home dinner.
Okay.
I'm doing pan-seared Arctic char, being served with a hollandaise sauce. It's going to be a dill hollandaise sauce.
Right.
A lot of people are afraid of hollandaise sauce, which is why I chose to do it, because it's actually really easy to do, and you can use it on all eggs, Benedict,
Everything.
every vegetables.
Absolutely.
And just to show people how easy it is to do.
All right.
And how easy it is to recover if we screw it up.
Yes.
So, because that happens too. And
It does.
We can recover
Sometimes
it.
they separate, and
Yeah.
you got to bring them back together.
Yeah. So we're doing the pan-seared Arctic char. We're also going to be doing oven roasted potatoes, and we are going to be doing an asparagus. And I chose asparagus because it's spring. Asparagus is fresh. It's a local vegetable.
Right.
And
One of the first little beautiful green things to pop out of the ground.
yeah, and it goes really well with fish. And it's one of those things that you serve with holiday sauce.
Absolutely.
Also. So.
All right. So let's dive into it. What
All
do
right,
we need?
so I'm going to just lift off the ingredients.
Okay.
First for the Arctic char, we'll go through and we'll do the ingredients for the Arctic char, and then we'll do it for the other dishes as we get to them. So for the Arctic char, all I'm going to be using is a little bit of oil, a little bit of butter, salt and pepper, and that's going to be it. We're going to pan-sear it.
Okay.
I don't like my fish well cooked.
No.
I know a lot of people like it more well cooked, but I like it more of the medium rare.
Correct.
This is Arctic char from Nunavut, and it is a nice filet. It's deboned and stuff like that. I have fished for Arctic char when I've been up there. It's a nice fish. It's similar to a salmon. So if people are at home and they don't have Arctic char, they can do the exact same thing with salmon or trout.
Perfect.
The hollandaise sauce goes nice with the red fish. And so all I'm going to do is, depending on the size of your pan or what size of portions you want to make, you're just going to cut it to whichever way.
With your ulu, of course.
With my ulu, which is a traditional Inuit woman's knife.
Right.
Yeah. So, but
Now, when you say a woman's knife,
traditionally Inuit woman's knife.
I love ulus.
Yeah.
So if I'm actually cooking, and I did purchase a couple of ulus, would I be frowned upon by using something that's considered a woman's tool?
No.
No.
No. If you're
Because
not
there's a great big Alaskans as well.
Yeah. They're different from different regions, different shapes, different sizes,
Okay.
different used for different things.
Okay.
We also have small ones for sewing and stuff like that. And
Right.
These ones will be used for cleaning all the fat off of seals.
Well, I
and stuff
use the
like
big
that.
Alaskan to cut through the ribs.
Yeah.
I think it works really,
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
And
It's sometimes when there's ceremonies and stuff like that going on, opening of new buildings and stuff like that, they use an ulu to cut the ribbon.
right.
At that point, a man should not do it.
Ah,
It is a woman who should be cutting
Really?
because it is a woman's knife. It's not.
gotcha.
I mean, that's my understanding.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
so,
cool.
but
I just
traditionally-
want to
Yeah.
I want to get it from the source because I don't want to be wrong when I'm talking to somebody. So the best way of actually getting rid of all that is to talk to somebody who's actually impacted by it.
Well, there's
daily.
also a man's knife, right?
Right.
And the man's knife is a long one, but it would be used for cutting the snow, the big snow cubes for making igloos. So there's a man's knife and there's a traditional Inuit woman's knife.
Cool.
And when they're first made, like let's say there's a young boy making his first one, or an adult male or something like that, he generally would gift it to his grandmother, his mother, or his wife,
Oh, that's cool.
or somebody in the community
That's
that
cool.
did something for him.
So you could have ulus out there that are literally hundreds of years old.
Oh, absolutely, and people don't just own one.
Wow.
Like I probably have 7.
Well, it's like a chef
And
with their
that's nothing-
knives.
yeah,
You don't just have
pretty
one
much.
knife because a lot
Yeah.
of them are purpose built.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one I got from an elder in Iqaluit, Mo Lewis, who I've known for years and years and years,
Okay.
and he's one of the most well-known ulu makers.
And I also noticed there's bone on it as well.
This
Or antler, is it?
this is caribou antler, and
Cool.
it's much darker than because
That's
it's
because you've used it.
well that, and there's iron from seal because I use this ulu to butcher seal.
Oh, cool.
So it changed the whole handle, changed the blade a little bit,
Nice.
and ulu is only sharp on one side.
Right.
Right, so it's not on both sides, and it's on like a regular knife.
Right.
A knife is sharp on both sides.
Correct.
Right? So I don't use an ulu a lot. I use it for certain things, but for
Uh-huh.
other things, I'm more used to a knife because again, I didn't grow up in the north. Left when I was 7 years old, so I
Right.
wasn't using this as a lifelong tool.
Right.
There's people who this exclusively
It's
use
an
ulu.
extension of their hand.
That's all they use.
Right.
So you're just going to determine, like I would say, this is going to be enough fish for 4 people here.
Okay.
Right? You're going to get 4 to 6 ounces each. So you're just going to, and an ulu is a rocker. and very sharp. So you cut, and this fish also has the skin on. Sometimes if you're going to a store and stuff like that, if you're buying other kinds of fish or Arctic char, you can have it with the skin off. I love the skin.
Yep.
So if I'm buying fish, I'm buying it with skin on. We're
Correct.
actually probably going to get probably 5 pieces out of this. Do you want to try and cut it?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
And this char is a little bit frozen. It's much easier to cut through when it's frozen. Or if you have a sharp knife, a knife will go through it anyway. Yeah, so instead of sawing, yeah.
You want to do this?
Yes.
So I'm used to doing this.
Yes, I find myself doing the same thing at times.
It's very cool.
So that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So these are 5 pullets, for a family of 4 or 5.
Right. Or one very hungry
Or
stuff.
one very hungry.
Yep.
And the nice thing too about fish is if you don't end up using it all at dinner, you can make it into like
Everything.
a fish spread or something for a sandwich the
Absolutely.
next day, right?
Yep.
So I'm not going to put, this is my ulu holder, it's a caribou antler,
Mm-hmm.
but my ulu's now got fish, so I'm not going to put it down, I'm going to put it to the side.
Right.
Some people might choose to flour this or not.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want it to have a crust. I want it to just be the fish.
Okay.
So
Now, what is going to be your frying medium? Are you using butter or are you using oil?
I'm going to do it, sorry, I'm talking to you backwards here.
That's okay.
Do that. I'm going to do it with oil.
Okay.
No, I'm going to add butter too.
Okay. We'll do that.
If you just use butter, it's going to burn.
Right.
So I always balance it with a little bit of
A
oil.
nice little 50-50 mix.
Yeah, well, a bit more butter than oil because
Okay.
I love butter.
Same here.
Who doesn't?
Right.
And you do want enough that the fish is not going to stick to the pan.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that's probably about 3 or 4 maybe
Yeah.
about 2 tablespoons of oil.
Sure.
You want it so that it's coating everywhere. It's going to be, you don't want the fish swimming in it, but you also don't want the fish.
You definitely
not
want a barrier between the steel and the fish.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to.
A healthy nug of butter.
Yeah. And a lot of recipes call for unsalted butter, but then you're putting salt on things.
Okay.
I always use salted butter unless it's for baking. That's
Right.
a little more finicky.
Right.
So I always use salted butter and use less salt for seasoning after if you need to be. You want this to get a little bit, you want the butter to melt, you want the fish to have, or the oil and the butter to have a bit of heat to it, not burning, but
Would you season the fish before
Yes.
it goes in the pan?
yeah, a little bit.
So a little bit of salt, a little
Yeah.
bit of pepper?
And not a long time before, especially with the salt, because if you put salt on
break
too
down.
soon, it'll break down. It's going to bleed the fish, right? Take out
Right.
all the moisture.
Right.
And here I'm just adjusting the size of the
The
pepper.
grind?
Yeah. Because the bigger the grind, the bigger piece can get stuck in your tooth.
Mm-hmm.
And I like pepper, but I don't like crunching on the big peppercorns.
Okay. See, I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah.
After a salad and I find something that I find is a little nasty, and then I crunch on it, and it's a nice big
Yeah.
burst of pepper. Oh,
No, not for me.
okay.
And also means that you can, down low, you're going to get it concentrated.
Right.
Up high, it's going to spread a little further.
Right.
And salt is one of those things, it's personal taste. Some
And it's
people-
always nice to use a natural sea salt also.
Yes.
I noticed that we're using a natural large coarse sea salt
Mm-hmm.
and grinding it down.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Fresh salt and fresh pepper, always nicer when it's ground yourself.
Right.
Like instead of buying the iodized stuff or the crushed, that's already crushed, because it's much fresher.
So the pan is nice and warm,
Yeah.
the butter's melted.
You can see it bubbling.
Right.
You want it to bubble maybe a bit more. You
Get
want
rid
it,
of all that liquid.
yeah, because the other thing too is with the oil, if it's not hot enough, your fish is going to stick to the pan.
Correct.
So you want it to be hot so that it doesn't
Yep.
stick. And we can probably get 3 pieces in here, but then we're kind of overcrowding it.
Yeah, we don't
So I'm
want
just
that.
going to do 1 piece just to
Absolutely.
show, bring it through.
Right.
And like I said, I would like my fish to be about medium rare, so I'm going to suggest 4 to 6 minutes on each side.
Right.
It is a bit frozen,
Yep.
so it's going to not cook really fast.
Right. Beautiful.
So you have that little, you can hear that. So, and I always test with the tip of my fish,
Right.
and if it doesn't have a sizzle, I wait. So it has a sizzle, now I'm going to put it down.
Nice sound.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I can
Nice
rinse
little
my
bubble,
hand.
nice little light little bubbling. So,
Yeah, and that's happening, so that's 4 to 6 minutes on either side.
right.
So while that's happening, we could be moving on and working on what's next, right?
Right.
So I'm going to actually put that rest of this fish just off to the side.
I'll take that
here.
for you.
Okay. I need a cloth.
All right, so while the fish is going, I turned on your water for your steam.
Okay, super.
And what would you like to work on
I think
next?
we're going to do the potatoes next.
Gonna do the potatoes?
Yeah, since they're going to take a little bit of time also.
All right. So we've got some potatoes here
Yeah.
that I found for you.
So these have been microwaved
Okay.
about 7 minutes,
About
so
that.
that they're par cooked.
They're cooked.
So with the oven roasted potatoes, we're going to be making them also in a fry pan.
Okay.
I'm actually call them oven roasted, but they're actually pan roasted.
Right.
Because
Well,
we
you
can do
could
both
do
ways.
them either way.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, you could actually start them off in the pan, finish them in your oven.
Yeah.
Or for us, we expedited everything by just actually parboiling the potatoes beforehand, and away we go. So,
Yeah.
do we want to season the potatoes before they go in the pan,
No,
or just put them right in?
I'm just going to do it like that again.
Heat up the
So
pan.
now you did it. Okay.
There you go.
All these new.
I know, eh? The modern marvels. I'm used to just putting a piece of wood in the oven and heating it up, and that seems to be okay with me. But
So again, oil. The oil is so that the butter doesn't burn.
right,
We don't need that anymore.
thank you.
Keep an eye on your fish at the same time. Depending on the thickness of the fish, it might cook a little faster.
Right.
But you can also see on the edges like where it's cooking, and that's it's going to be about another 2 minutes there. So maybe I put in a bit too much
That's
oil.
okay. No, you can't go wrong with butter. It's potatoes.
know, it's butter.
It'll soak it all in. And what are we going to be putting in with the butter? With the potatoes as well?
So with the potatoes, well, we're going to get them in. What I'm going to do is we'll put them in there, and I'll get you to kind of keep an eye on them. We'll switch sides,
Okay.
and you're going to move them around a bit for me.
For sure.
And while those are browning, I'm just going to make like a little herb mixture. We're going to use some dill, some thyme, some cilantro, garlic, salt, pepper, and smoked paprika.
Lovely.
And we're just going to toss it on the
All right.
potatoes once they're browned.
Let's switch now. You can start on your herbs.
And that fish.
You want me to flip it?
I think, yeah, you want another fork?
No, I'm
Yeah,
good.
maybe we'll flip it and just see how it's looking.
It's still sticking a little bit. We'll just be a little bit gentle with it. There we go.
Nice and okay. Yep.
Beautiful.
So with your garlic, I'm using fresh garlic. Cut off the end, that brown end, the kind of the root end, I guess.
Right.
And then you just
Give it a crush.
and the peel comes right off, and you're left just with the garlic bulb itself.
Perfect.
And so for the potatoes, I'm now just going to, I'm not going to I'm just going to dice them like minced almost,
Okay.
because I want to taste that little bit of roasted garlic with the potatoes. So just a quick mince. You could mulch them, you can use whole cloves.
Right.
The more you break them up, the stronger the garlic taste is.
I think you're going to have enough residual heat in that pan to finish cooking up the fish.
Okay.
So we're going to take that
So
off.
that's probably ready for the potatoes.
We'll throw some potatoes in. Oh, give a little splatter.
So I have the garlic ready. I have fresh dill here. You could take off a few, just the sprigs. You don't want the thick, heavy stalks.
Right.
So just a few sprigs. And you're just going to just chop them up a little bit. Dill to me, it's just so nice to go with fish. So it helps transition from the fish to it unifies the dish a little bit.
Right.
So we're going to have dill on the potatoes. We're not going to have any dill on the fish itself, but we're going to put dill in the hollandaise sauce.
Okay.
So we have the garlic, we have the dill, we have this is cilantro. Some people don't like cilantro. It tastes like
You either
salt.
hate it or you love it.
Yeah.
My dad hates it. I love it.
Yeah, same here.
You know, it's such a big, fresh, beautiful flavor, but as with anything, you're going to have people on either side of the fence.
Well, from what I understand too, is like for some people it tastes like soap.
Soap,
like
big
fish
time.
liquid.
My dad thinks it tastes like soap.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
it's
like-
just an enzyme.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you don't use cilantro, you can use just any parsley.
Right.
Right. So again, I'm not cutting up really fine because I want to have those little bursts of flavor in my mouth.
Okay.
So just like that, chopped up a little bit. And then the other thing I'm having here is thyme. Thyme is one of my favorite herbs.
Right.
And with thyme, you don't cut it. With thyme, you just pick the flowers off.
Right.
And so you just, rub your hand just down like that.
No, I actually take the stems as well, and I use them for little skewers for chicken.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll put 3 or 4 of them together, and I'll make a little hole,
Yeah.
just like you do with your beadwork, with your going through the actual animal skin.
Yeah.
I do the same thing to actually create a hole where I can filter that lovely piece of woody goodness, because a lot of people just throw that out.
Yeah, it's got a lot of flavor.
Or, throw it in stock, do something
Yeah.
with it, use it, because, it's good stuff. You
Yeah.
know, don't throw things out. Reuse them, repurpose
There's
them.
so many things, like everything that you cook with, what we consider like scrap could be used, like you said, for stocks and all that
Correct.
sort of stuff. And just got to remember to label your bags before you put them in the freezer.
Oh, I'm totally guilty of that.
I have too
You
much.
know, at the end of the year, you look into your magic freezer and it's like, what is this?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I'm guilty of that too.
What protein is it? What vegetable is it? What color is it? What texture is it? Oh, I know.
So, like I said, with the thyme, I'm not even going to chop it with a knife because like I said, it's one of my favorite herbs.
And they're tiny little leaves too.
Yeah, and you can bite through that little stalk that the florets
sure.
are growing on.
Yep.
And again, I mean, it's one of those things. This is what I like to do.
Yep.
You might not like thyme. You might want to switch it with something else. Any of the herbs, anything works. So cooking is what do you enjoy? What does your family like, right?
Right.
Sorry, I'm hot. That's
I know.
dry.
I know.
So those are.
So we're just going to finish off the potatoes.
Yeah.
And what's the last?
They have the last thing we're going to be doing is the hollandaise sauce with
Hollandaise.
asparagus.
Do you want me to put this closer to you so you can work it closer?
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to, before we get to the asparagus, it's going to be so quick.
Yep.
Oh, we need to blanch. No, you know what? We can blanch the asparagus, or we
Or
can
we could just put
pan
them
fry it.
right on top here
That's what I was going to say.
and let them steam them. So
Before
why
we
don't you,
put the herbs on?
why don't you show them how proper asparagus is?
So
There we go.
yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
put their asparagus down and they chop it. Every stalk of asparagus has a natural breaking point.
There we go.
You just snap it off. This part is woody.
Yeah. It's snap.
Yeah.
That is woody and hard. That goes into the stock pot.
Yeah.
And this, delicious,
And that's it.
tender, fresh. Oh, that's so good.
So we're going to put these on top of the potatoes before we add the herbs and stuff, because I don't want all of these herbs that are on potatoes onto this.
I just
yeah,
turned
let's
off
turn
the
it down.
pan,
Okay, good.
and we can just lay them out, and the steam will actually finish off cooking them.
Yeah.
So we're
And-
done with that.
Yeah, and the nice thing with asparagus, it's not one of those vegetables that it's because you eat it raw, right? So it's nice that it's not going to be, it's going to be like a very nice al dente.
Right.
Here we are.
We're
Oh, there we go.
on.
So the next thing we're going to be working on is the hollandaise sauce for the asparagus. And we're also going to use the hollandaise sauce on the fish, but we're going to use one hollandaise and we're going to make it 2 ways.
Okay.
So first we're just going to make it with the eggs and the lemon. And that's what's going to go on the fish. And then, the eggs and the lemon is going to go on the hollandaise. Then we're going to add a little bit of fresh dill, and that's what's going to go on the fish. So lemon juice. I have this handy dandy little lemon squeezer here.
Right.
So just to get ready, right, to have it ready for the hollandaise sauce, the flavoring at the end.
So all your mise en place is being done right now.
Yeah. If you don't have a lemon squeezer, you know what?
Just squeeze.
You can just squeeze. The other thing I like to do is I find this.
That's the best because it actually breaks all of that connective tissue in there
Yeah.
and all those membranes full of pockets of lemony goodness. I use that all the time too.
Yeah.
Or I like to actually grill it beforehand. That way
Oh, you have a smoky flavor on it.
it's smoky. Or not just a smoky flavor, but if I'm just simply grilling it, it's actually warming it up, breaking it down so that when I squeeze it, I get everything
Yeah,
out of it.
you see some people rolling it and then popping it in the microwave for a moment and that sort of
Exactly.
stuff. So with a hollandaise sauce, you're only using the egg yolks.
Okay.
And the measurements that I use, fairly standard, 2 egg yolks, 1/4 cup of butter.
Right.
You want your butter melted.
Correct.
So I think we're going to need to pop this in a microwave. So I'm just going to pop this in the microwave real quick there, Steph.
Okay.
Oh. I don't. You're going to start off with a cooler bowl. I put the bowl on the pot, but I don't want it hot
Right.
because you don't want to cook your egg yolk or scramble it.
Right. All right.
And what are you going to do with the meringue, with the whites? Make a meringue.
Absolutely.
Add it to some other eggs for scrambled eggs at another day. And because I'm going to be doing, because I'm making enough hollandaise sauce for the fish itself and the asparagus, I'm not going to just do 2 egg yolks. I'm going to double it.
Right.
Because normally 2 would probably be enough. I needed 1 more bowl to put the egg yolk in. Here we go, or the egg.
There we go.
This is not quite big enough. So yeah, I'm doubling this one, so it would be 4 eggs and maybe a half cup of butter. But
All right.
and you know, as easy as hollandaise is, I still get nervous every time I make it.
Right.
It is just one of those things that you know, it might break. But I'm not as nervous as I used to be because I know how to recover it. So you just want to whisk up your yolks a bit. A whisk would be, if you have a whisk, it's great. If
Let's
not,
see if I can find you a whisk. Whisk, 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 whisk.
no, this is, I mean, the
Whisk.
fork is fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm good. So we're doing a double boiler here. Just a little bit of water in the bottom of the pot.
Okay.
We don't want it to be really heavy because the steam is going to be enough to make this hollandaise sauce.
Okay.
And actually, yeah, you know what? A whisk. We're
Let
going
me
to
find
need
you a whisk.
Just because when we're adding the butter, we want to
Yeah.
have that aeration. And I'm going to grab the butter out of the microwave. It's ready to go. So a lot of people and a lot of chefs, depending on how fine your cuisine is going to be and stuff like that, they use clarified butter. I love butter too much. I'm not taking all that stuff out of the butter.
No.
And we're at home, right? These are homemade meals. So just make sure your egg yolks are... So again, not a lot of steam. I need to do this. So 4 eggs, about a half a cup of butter. That looks pretty good.
Sure.
And you're just going to slowly drizzle in your egg, or sorry, your butter into the egg. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Sometimes you need 4 hands and like be good.
Oh, good.
It would be good to be
That's
an
why
octopus.
you have friends in your kitchen.
Yeah, or have an octopus. Can we turn it towards me? Short little bees, like. So and this and just slowly drizzle
Slowly
in.
emulsify the butter into the fat, or the butter into the eggs.
And it's going to be almost like a lemon custard when you're done. Except
It won't taste like
except
lemon
it's going to be butter.
Yeah.
Butter and egg yolk.
Oh, I don't know, lemon custard. You know me and lemons.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
I can do a lot more with a hollandaise sauce than I can do with a lemon custard. So
So you just basically want to keep whisking until it actually increases in volume,
Yeah, and
drops in color to a little paler color.
yeah, a
and,
little thicker
Becomes thick.
because it is going to get a bit thicker because your egg yolks are cooking.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep whisking that for you,
I'm going to do the potatoes.
and you can actually do the potatoes.
Yep.
And maybe start plating everything up.
I'm going to actually, the asparagus itself is going to come right out
Yep.
because the asparagus is ready.
It's ready, it's cooked.
And for all the cooking that I do, Steph, I'm going to, like, George Laurier was nice enough to give us the use of his kitchen
Yes.
at C'est Bon Cooking School.
Yep.
One day, or 1 week, I am going to come here with George Laurier and learn some plating. Because I do, my cooking is home cooking, and a lot of it I cook out for events and things like that.
Right.
But I'm always awed how beautiful chefs make their plates look. I can make it look okay, it's all separate and stuff, but I don't have all that fancy stuff.
There you go. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's exactly.
It tastes the same,
It tastes great.
and
but
my plate looks good, it looks clean,
Yep.
but it's not as pretty as some plates that I see.
I hear you.
But that's why I want to come back here for George.
So your potatoes.
Yeah, so my potatoes, I'm putting them, like, so let's just pretend they were on the heat the whole time and this was all happening, but now they're ready. So now I want to finish them, right? I'm going to actually take this out too because this fish is ready.
Yep.
I'm a skin lover.
Me too.
So I'm actually going to put the skin down. Like, it's been sitting up like this. It's fairly crispy on the edges, but I'm going to put it down because I want to see the hollandaise sauce on that part of the fish.
Okay.
And with it down too, the hollandaise sauce is not really
Nice
going to-
golden color on the fish as
Beautiful
well.
fish.
That's really pretty.
And it does feel pretty nice. So now I'm just going to finish off my potatoes. So with the cilantro, the dill, we're going to use a little bit on the potatoes. We're going to use a little bit also in the hollandaise sauce after we put some of the hollandaise on the asparagus. So we're just going to bring this to a really quick heat. We don't want it really hot. I'm going to add...
Oh, all of it.
You think?
Oh, yeah. Garlic.
I don't have to kiss you tonight.
Oh, yeah. I'm Italian. We love garlic.
Did you put lemon by chance in the hollandaise
No, I
sauce?
did not.
Okay. So the
Would
last...
you like that in now?
Yeah, so the last little bit of thing, and this is just to add flavor.
Right.
You can use lemon, and you don't, again, it's how much flavor do you want?
Good.
Right?
Yep.
So I would start off with maybe a half a teaspoon, and you can increase it. It's better to put in too little to start with and add it than it is to put in too much and you can't take it out. It needs more lemon. And actually too, a bit of salt if you could. I'm going to put it all in, because I like lemon.
And you wanted what?
Just
Pepper?
yeah, a little bit of salt for sure. And again, it's what you like. I don't want a lot of pepper because I've already got pepper on other things.
And if you're worried about the little black flecks, use white pepper.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind seeing little black flecks. You know, back when I went to George Brown a gazillion years ago, if you made one of these sauces with black pepper, you may as well go home because that's kind of frowned upon.
Yeah, and I don't even have white pepper. I like the flavor of black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice. Just that little bit of lemon.
Yummy.
Yes.
So essentially you're warming up your potatoes, you're essentially throwing in a little garlic.
Yeah.
You're gonna warm the garlic up or you're gonna brown
Yeah,
it?
I don't want the garlic to end up being burnt. I want it just to be warmed a little bit. The same with all the herbs. I don't want all the herbs to go into the pan and sit there and then
Burn.
brown.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want the heat just to break the essence a little bit.
Perfect.
And if you want your garlic to be browned a bit, that's great.
So be it.
For me, it's a lot of the cooking is what does the individual like?
Right.
What does their family like, right?
Right.
Maybe they don't like garlic.
For sure.
So we're also going to do a little bit of salt and pepper on this. And potatoes can take a fair amount of salt. Oh, sorry. Not used to having somebody helping me.
I know. I know. Trust me. It's when you have somebody in the kitchen that has experienced hands. It's a pleasure, but it's also
It's just so
unnatural. What are you doing? Get out of my kitchen.
So I'm going to say that's enough. The garlic
Sure.
is heated. I'm going to do the thyme first. Thyme is a little bit of a heavier herb.
So what do you want?
So it can take a little bit more time with the heat.
For sure.
And I'm only going to use, I love thyme, so thyme is so good with the other things
Thyme,
like meat.
garlic.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
A little bit of dill.
Popping sounds great, eh?
Yeah.
I love it when a pan talks to you. That's when I get excited. It's like how do you know when to do what? How do you know when to do what? Listen to the pan.
Yeah.
The pan's going to tell you what to do.
So the dill I added on.
Yep.
And again, the reason I'm putting dill on here is I like dill myself. I should have had a glass of water.
Listen.
But the other thing too is like you're tying the dill from the potatoes into the dill hollandaise that's going to happen shortly.
Right.
So cilantro, we can turn this off now.
Sure.
Do this. We do that, of course.
All good.
Yeah. So I'm just going to add. I love the freshness of cilantro.
Me too.
So I'm just going to add that. I don't really want that to get any heat on it. So and then that's it. And you just kind of pour them onto your plate. See, Steph is being helpful. I'm not used to it. Look at that.
That's gorgeous.
We'll put this down here.
Put that right
So
there.
now we're going to put, I'll get you a spoon. We're going to put some of the hollandaise, that hollandaise itself, just on the asparagus. And then we're going to add a little bit of dill to it to now do that. And that dill we're going to add onto the fish. And I can eat this like soup.
Me too.
So I want to make sure that I get enough so that every mouthful of the Arctic char that I'm having, I'm going to have a good dollop of.
That looks
Hollandaise sauce.
tasty.
And this is smoked paprika, and it's just pretty. And it can go on everything.
That looks awesome, Trudy. What a fun segment.
It is.
That was a lot of fun. I love cooking with you. I love sharing the kitchen with you, and I love learning from you.
I think we need to taste it, Steph,
Oh, I think
because it looks good.
we definitely need to taste it. but I'm pretty sure we're going to be tasting this after the cameraman takes some
really?
beauty shots. You got to remember, it's TV.
I keep forgetting.
The guy in the background saying, he's talking to me now going, don't touch the dish!
See, I'm not
I
used
need
to
some
this.
beauty shots!
I'm not used to this.
So we'll definitely...
Can we have a potato?
No, we can't touch anything. Have a potato.
All right.
I'm going to have a potato.
Yes.
Oh.
Hot, but man, I love that dill.
Yeah, it pops.
enough.
Trudy, it was fun. Once again, you knocked it out of the park. Really happy to be part of this. And you guys can do this too.
And the nice thing about this is that took us, what, maybe a half hour?
And that's with us doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, but even like if we started from the beginning, it's a dish.
Easily.
You can cook a dinner at home for your family, half hour to 45
Easily.
minutes, and you've
And
got
it's a phenomenal dish.
healthy,
Yeah.
whole
We're not
foods.
talking chicken fingers here in French
nope,
fries.
and organic.
Atta girl.
Yeah.
Thanks, chef.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.